Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome aboard the Hesston Galena Creek Narrow Gauge Railroad. A few words of safety as you get underway. Please remain seated as the train is in motion. Keep your heads, hands, feet, everything inside the car. And the only thing allowed to smoke on board this train is the locomotive. Up here on the left-hand side of the train, it looks like Frankenstein's got the steamroller out of the shed again. He's doing a little something he likes to call the monster mash. Today we're riding behind our 1929 Shay number 7. Number 7 was built by the Lima Locomotive Works of Lima, Ohio, for the New Mexico Lumber Company. The engine worked there hauling logs for many years until it was eventually shipped up to the Oregon Lumber Company where it finished out its career. The engine was eventually used as a stationary boiler powering the sawmill there in Baker City, Oregon, before eventually finding its way here to the Hesston Steam Museum. In 1985, the locomotive was involved in a devastating engine house fire, which completely destroyed the engine. However, after many years of all-volunteer work, the engine was returned to the rails in 2008 and has been pulling passengers back in time ever since. Shay number 7 is a unique type of locomotive. This is the last narrow-gauge Shay ever built. Shays are unique from standard rod locomotives, as instead of rods on each side, on the right-hand side there's 3 cylinders which power a drive shaft that drive all the axles on board the locomotive. As you round this bend up here at the top of the hill, make sure to take a look to the right and you can see the unique Shay work. Now Now, folks, you see, on an October afternoon, very similar to today, 100 years ago, there was a train with engineer Bones Jones and fireman Freddie and hobo Harry. They went down this track and were never seen again. Now, the problem is, I want to convince our engineer to switch down this track, but he's a bit of a scaredy cat. He doesn't want to take us down that abandoned line. But he agreed back there at Hesston Junction, if on the count of 3, we scream as loud as we can, he can hear us up there in that noisy locomotive. He'll blow the whistle. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. You see, back at the turn of the century, there was a lumberjack working the hills of Hesston. He would cut down the trees and turn them into timber. However, one day, the railroad came through and started chopping down his trees and turning them into new homes in New Buffalo and sailing the wood across Lake Michigan. Some people say this drove that lumberjack mad. And on a day very similar to today, that train with engineer Bones Jones, fireman Freddie, and hobo Harry went down this line and was never seen again. And now, folks, I suspect that that lumberjack had something to do aboard that train. But you're about to find out on board the Hesston Ghost Train. On the right-hand side of the train, it appears we're passing by a pumpkin patch, where it looks like they have a new breed of emoji pumpkins. The sign reads, "I'd go back if I were you." Well, folks, this locomotive only goes forward. It looks like we're going through. And the sign on the right-hand side of the train marks the entrance to the woods, the haunted woods of Hesston. And on the left, look out! Giant spiders, they're all over the locomotive, look out! And on the left-hand side of the train, it appears we're passing by the lumberjack retirement home. These guys don't look very mad. And on the right-hand side of the train, we're passing by the deadlift gym, where these fellows are working hard to put some meat on their bones.
I love that.
And on the right-hand side of the train, it appears we found the final resting places of all those people on board that train. With names like Fireman Freddie and Hobo Harry, there's even one saved for you.
These are cute. Those are cute.
And the engineer slows the train to pay his respects to engineer Bones Jones. Rest in pieces, Bones. Rest in pieces.
Don't move your head on this one.
And on the left-hand side of the train, it's the Howell Inn at Hesston. With color TV and air conditioning, every door is number 13. Would anybody like to check in? I didn't think so. And on the left-hand side of the train, we're passing by the famous Hesston Supper Club, where it said people are just dying to eat there. And on the right-hand side of the train, we're passing by a witch's lair, where it looks like one of the witches is upgraded with her new electric broom. And on the left-hand side of the train, we're passing by the Hesston gold mine, where it said the lumberjack made all the people on board work deep inside the mine shaft to repay him for the debts the railroad owned. And on the right, these guys have been working themselves to the bone trying to find themselves a piece of gold. Conductor to engineer, there appear to be some cautionary signals up ahead, maybe some track work. Can you tell what's going on up here? I can't read. Folks, engineer doesn't know how to read. Well, folks, I want to apologize for that. Next time, remind me to find an engineer who knows how to read. Looks like we seem to make it all through all right. Should be back here to Hesston Junction in no time. I will say, back there at the Hesston Cemetery, there's one thing that concerns me. I don't happen to remember a tombstone for the Mad Lumberjack, do you? No, I didn't think so. And even more concerning is up here on the right, the sign that reads, logging camp ahead. Folks, I'd squeeze in tight and hold your children close, because you never know what's going to happen on the Hesston ghost train. Whoever this guy is, he sure has pretty good aim with his chainsaw. Hesston Junction, please watch your step.